Okay, good morning. This is Welcome to House Human Services. We are taking up an amendment to H 657. And that's an act relating to enabling unaccompanied homeless youth to obtain certain services without parental consent. And so Katie, if you could, please pull up the amendment, and we have the amendment on our webpage. And I'm gonna maybe ask the reporters of the bill, or the ones around the amendment, just to briefly just give any background that you have, and then Katie will do the language.
Yeah. So this amendment is mainly just some technical corrections. When we had been updating some of the definitions, we accidentally cut out the 16 and 17-year-olds bit. So we kind of removed the age requirement to be able to be a certified youth, and some other kind of important context got removed in a different change. And so we added in an intent section that just kind of clarifies that. Also in the unaccompanied youth section, judiciary just had a couple of small changes to really clarify our intent. So a lot of the changes you see in that are really just about clarity and some technical corrections. And then do you want to chime in about the other one?
So there was just one part in my bill about transportation. We had added asking the state's attorneys and sheriffs who do a very small number of transports to also give us data for those 12 or 20 a year. It obviously wasn't clear who we meant, because they freaked out thinking we wanted them to report the data for all kids in the DCF system. And they said, we wouldn't even know that. Anyway, so we included the word court-ordered transports, because those are the ones they do. But there was also an issue. We were just repeating the language of what we asked DCF for on transports. And their deputies are pick up a kid and deliver him because it's a court order, but they don't have a bunch of background on them. And they were a little leery on even age and gender, not age, gender and racial background. They were like, well, we'd have to ask them and we're not sure. So they said, please hold up. We'll talk with the Senate about maybe a way we can put it in, but don't put that in for now till we can work that out. So that was removed from that. And the rest was wordsmithing. We changed it to wording that they said is what they work with. So it says date of birth instead of age, little tweaks like that just to meet what they are used to gathering.
Okay, thank you, Katie.
Yeah. So good morning, Katie McGlynn, Office of Legislative Counsel. This is instances of amendment, which I know is hard, but with such a big bill, it probably makes sense not to do a strike all. So the first instance of amendment is striking out just section 4 of the bill and putting in a new section 4. I've highlighted the language that is different from your underlying committee report, so that would be hopefully useful to you. There's a new subsection A, legislative intent, that describes the population specifically that would benefit from the unaccompanied youth section. I noticed when I went to other committees with this bill that there are a lot of questions about the who, and hopefully this addresses that more clearly. So in instances in which severe family dysfunction, such as abuse, neglect, child abandonment, or lack of financial support has left a child or youth homeless, and other supports such as foster care are deemed inappropriate, it is the intent of the General Assembly to provide an unaccompanied youth with the resources necessary to obtain services and benefits that the unaccompanied youth's peers can obtain with the consent of a parent or guardian.
So the other question I had was, since this is talking specifically about 16 and 17-year-olds, is whether we continue to use the term child. I didn't want to give anybody the impression that it was like a little younger. Yeah.
Well,
that's why I just was suggesting that maybe
16 or 17 should go right up there. see it right off. This is what we're talking about. Has left a 16 or 17-year-old youth homeless.
Yeah.
Then it's like right at the beginning.
Yeah, then there's no question.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
And then can I just, this is a nit, but I just had a really visceral reaction to the word dysfunction after family. And I'm open to hearing what other people think, especially Jubilee, who you, like, I feel like it's more like complexities that like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not married to it. I'm just sharing
Yeah.
my like reaction.
I think it helps underscore for people who are like, oh, they're just runaways. You know, that this is, that there may be a
Okay.
better way to put
Sorry,
it, but
yeah,
this is a
whether it's
family that's
violence,
really in
drug
crisis.
use,
There's
like,
bad stuff
yeah.
going on.
Yeah,
So I don't know another word other than
It is- okay.
dysfunction. Yeah.
that's fair.
Did you have something, Doug?
The word struck me a bit. I wonder if a little sentence reconstruction, could it be where a 16 or 17-year-old is faced with a situation of abuse, neglect, child abandonment, and other supports, and it would remove the dysfunction?
Yeah, that works for me, just removing it out.
It's
It
just
doesn't work
such a
for me.
negative,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, this
but
is, it's
it is,
intense.
yeah.
Having been also in the places where Katie's talking about, the questions that kept getting raised were, all around the,
Yeah.
kid who gets into a fight with their family
Yeah,
and they
it's not
decide they're
about
gonna
that,
load
yeah.
up their knapsack and, go off
And
and,
we're going to entice them to do that because
And-
they know they can get these special.
Okay,
yeah.
that's fair.
I think
Let's leave
it's, yeah, I think it's important to keep it.
Okay. Thank you for the explanation.
Yeah.
So if you're removing child, I'm assuming you want to do it here too.
House appropriations.
This definition. That was a question, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's okay. In subsection B, the definitions, homeless child or youth, I'm assuming you want to just change it to homeless youth now? Throughout? We say a child or youth, a child or youth. Do you want just or youth?
That for because we do then go in for unaccompanied youth.
Mhm.
Say it is a homeless child or youth who is 16 or 17. This is I think it's important. And my hope is we start using this instead of referring to McKinney-Vento or across
Right.
all our legislation. But that is the definition for.
I think it's different, Katie, so I think that this is okay.
Okay. And here is the language, where the 16 or 17 is in definition. Unaccompanied youth means a homeless child or youth, 16 or 17 years of age, who is not in the physical custody of a parent or guardian. And then because we added the new subsection, we bump all the other subsections down. So you'll see that all the other highlighting is updating the subsections. There is a new D1B. And this language is that the department shall post the certification form and information about this section on its website, including who is eligible for certification and which individuals and entities can complete the certification form pursuant to this section. Okay. And then I think this is mostly updating cross references. And
It seems
then,
longer than it really is, right?
Right.
Yeah.
and then the editor's caught that we have headings for every other subsection, but not this compact. So I added a heading in for the compact piece. Second instance of amendment is in section 4A. That is the section that's in Title 13, the runaway youth section. This is language that the House Judiciary Committee looked at, and they changed the new language that we added that under exceptions carves out unaccompanied youth, that the section you just created. And they use the phrase actions authorized under 339808. You're going to ask me what the original one was, and I'll have to flip back to the other document.
And this is a recommendation from judiciary?
Judiciary, yeah.
Do you want to know what the previous language was? I can flip.
We're not gonna change it, so.
Okay.
It was more clarifying that it's the specific actions they take as authorized. Versus the other language, I think some perceived it as
Right.
if they were authorized under the statute, then they just
They
were.
could violate anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so.
You know, rather than
those
just those things.
Specific actions,
Right,
okay,
yeah.
all right. Thank you.
Which was our intent, but
Right.
yeah.
It wasn't giving them immunity from everything.
In terms of this isn't the immunity
Oh, that's not
clause,
the
but
immunity,
no,
okay.
this is the criminal harboring a
The harboring,
Runaway,
okay,
yeah,
okay, gotcha, all right, thank you.
Third instance of amendment is really almost fixing a typo. So the defined term that you created is soft restraints, and in one place, the bill uses soft mechanical restraints. So this is just cleaning that up to use the defined term. Top of page 7, fourth instance of amendment. This is the new reporting language for the Department of State's attorneys and sheriffs. So striking out the existing subsection where that exists, putting in a new subsection with this new language. So annually on or before January 15th, the department is to submit a written report to the policy committees and the advocate addressing the number of court-ordered transports of minors conducted by the state transport deputies pursuant to Title 24 during the previous year, including, there it is, the date of birth of transported minors, whether restraint was used during transport, if restraint was used, the type of restraint, whether the minor's case was a delinquency, youthful offender, or criminal proceeding, that's new, and the purpose of the transport, also new.
right. We had said the status of the child, because like DCF is a
Right.
and what we wanted from them is, which of those things. They also asked, why isn't it consistent? You use child everywhere else. Why is this minor? And that's key to the criminal. You can have a 16 or 17-year-old in their lingo is not a child because they're being prosecuted as an adult.
They can't, right.
And so child would leave out those. So it's got to be minor as in anyone under 18.
Yeah, I remember we had that conversation before, yeah. Okay,
That's it.
okay, so I have just a technical question, so Anne, are you going to present this part of the amendment? Or-
We thought for the amendment purposes, well, I'll have already referenced this when I present the bill saying this is going to be,
Okay.
wordsmith
Yeah.
based on what the sheriff's asked.
Uh-huh.
And then when Jubilee walks through, we didn't think it made sense to trade off for the amendment.
Okay,
And
I just was checking because I
Yeah.
wanted to, if you were, then I was going to suggest you be at the top end with Jubilee, but if you're not, then there isn't any reason to.
right, but that's most Jubilee's, you're still fine with that.
Yeah, no, I'm fine
I
with
think
that, but happy
flipping
to have
back and forth.
people's names added to the amendment if they want.
Oh, yeah, that's fine too, but
It was a committee bill, so, well, actually, it wasn't a committee bill, it was from your bill. Are there, I guess, could I see by a show of hands if you want to be on the amendment? So I don't have any problem, we can make it, yeah, okay. Son, do you want to be on the amendment? Everybody in the room said they would put their name on the amendment.
Yes, thank you.
Okay,
And Representative McGill would be first.
yes,
And just to, I don't intend, because it gets complicated, I don't intend to discuss the whole issue of why the state's attorneys didn't want to include gender and racial background unless somebody out there
Raises
happens
it,
to
yeah.
notice that we left that out on this one.
since you're reporting the bill, I doubt that would be happening.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Now
it would
it was
be.
somebody else.
Well, the first field would like to interrogate the next.
The person who would have noticed it was the person who suggested adding part of that, and she already asked me, I noticed that's not in it. What happened?
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Okay. Alrighty. So can I see by a show of hands, this is a straw poll on, or first I'll ask, are there any other questions about the amendment? Okay. So can I see by a show of hands, those folks who support the amendment? I'm waiting for some. There we go.
There.
Okay. Okay. So that was 902. And you write that down.
902.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll report that. Oh, I'm gonna do a Brian where
They actually know,
Oh.
yesterday Jill came to me and wanted me to do it, because it was your amendment, but, because it just had your name, but there's multiple people's names on it, so I think it'd be
Okay.
fine, yeah. Yeah, because it just had your name on it, yeah. They don't like to have the person, if it's only their name on it, also report the vote of the committee. But since it's, it
902.
was fine, yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Katie. And we'll get back a version of that to post. Okay.
Somebody had already noticed in the notice calendar, the bill came to me and said, what happened to putting 16 and 17 back in? I don't see it in there.
They can't, it's.
I said, don't worry, comment in the amendment.